Hello and welcome. This is Ancient Wisdom for a Modern World. I am your host, Jim Phillips. It is through the application of ancient wisdom in our modern world that we gain a greater understanding and experience of the truth of who we are. Never has there been a time in the history of humanity when there was a greater need to understand this truth. And it is this truth that will set us free. Before I begin today's episode, I want to invite you to subscribe to the Ancient Wisdom for a Modern World podcast at sacredstoriesmedia.com, where you can also listen to inspirational messages by my Sacred Stories colleagues. Additionally, if you'd like more information on my work and my message and free downloads, please visit my personal website at www.livinginfullexpression.com. And lastly, I'm excited to announce that my book, The Key to Life, is now fully available for purchase at sacredstoriespublishing.com as well as amazon.com. And now for today's episode. And I want to begin with a quote, as I so often do. The difficulty is not in finding solutions to the challenges of humanity. It is in implementing them. Now, what I'm going to do today is deviate a little bit from what I've done on previous podcasts. And I'm going to answer a few questions that have been submitted to me in response to the request I made through my blog and my podcast. But I've got to tell you, what I find interesting, but truly not surprising, is how similar a lot of the questions are and how similar the challenges we all face. And if there's one simple bit of wisdom I can share with you right up front, it's that you're not alone. You're not alone in your fears, your concerns, your experiences, your desires, your frustrations, your struggles, your successes, your pain. We all lose, we all gain, we all succeed, and we all fail. And we're all courageous, and we're all fearful. We're all going through this experience that we call life with thoughts and beliefs about what we believe to be the purpose of life, the meaning behind all that we see and experienced, and the longing for love, joy, peace, and happiness. We all have experiences of love, joy, peace, and happiness to varying degrees based upon our perspective of life and what we believe is possible and what we believe we are worthy of. And yet love, peace, joy, and happiness are always available to us, fully, completely, and wholly, regardless of the circumstances under which we find ourselves. It truly is a matter of choice. How do I choose to live my life? What do I choose as my life experiences? What do I choose to think and to believe? And what do I choose as my next action? And perhaps most importantly, how do I choose to experience myself within the context of life? We have the gift of choice in everything. What we don't choose is the consequence of each choice. However, what we can be assured of is that if we make choices consistently aligned with what we desire to experience, we will call to ourselves opportunities to create the experience. Now, does this mean you'll always experience smooth sailing in this process? No. I can assure you, you will have challenging opportunities which are an integral part or component of this process of gaining a greater understanding, experience, and expression of yourself as the creator of your life experiences. I mean, think about it. If we were to continue having the same experiences and only facing what we already know and what we've already experienced, there'd be no growth or expansion, and therefore really no reason for being here. We will always be pushed to the brink of what we believe we can do so that we can expand our belief and ultimately our experience of how powerful we truly are. With these thoughts in mind, I come to our first question. How can we be calm and at peace in a world that appears to be anything but peaceful? I'm going to answer this question with a quote that in itself is a question, but it's one that has and continues to serve me well as I'm faced with challenging opportunities. Here's the question. What is it in me that this is so? What is it in me that this is so? If we accept the truth that we're responsible for our life experiences, then any experience we have taken part in creating. And by asking this question, we're looking within ourselves for the cause of the experience, not the cause of the world event, but our experience of the event. Here's an example. If I'm not experiencing peace, regardless of the situation in which I find myself, what is it in me that is preventing the experience of calm and peace? And as simple as it sounds, we must consciously decide to be calm and at peace. We need to create opportunities to experience calm and peace. We need to adjust our thoughts when they're not calm and peaceful. And as I mentioned previously, we need to take action towards that which is calm and peaceful. We need to remove ourselves from situations that are not conducive to the experience of calm and peace. We need to remove ourselves from situations that don't allow for or reflect to us calm and peace. So what can we do? Well, first and foremost, I would suggest that we don't focus on the news as much as we do. We need to turn off the TV. We need to turn off our social media. We need to stop watching program that reinforces the difficulties or horrors in the world. We've got to stop playing video games of war and destruction. We've got to stop listening to music that is not consistent with the experience of calm and peace, which we all desire. And we have to discern for ourselves what is important and beneficial to each one of us. I'm not telling you to silence the world. That's going to be virtually impossible. However, each of us can and should lessen its impact. We all participate in the proliferation of world events by engaging in activities that give energy to them. And this applies to events that we consider the most challenging or difficult, as well as those that we consider to be the most beneficent. Yes, there are horrific events taking place all the time throughout the world, most of which we can do nothing about except perhaps hold and send thoughts of love and compassion to those who are caught within the midst of the turmoil. And if there is action you can take within your immediate world, the world around you, the world within which you live on a daily basis, and you're inspired to do so, then do so. However, do it out of love and compassion, not out of fear. One of the quickest and easiest ways we can influence our experience of calm and peace is to feel angst and stress, or even guilt about not being able to do something about the events unfolding around the world. I too have had that experience, and it does nothing but disrupt any calm and peace I might be experiencing. After a particularly graphic display on one of the TV magazine shows like 2020, I started wondering first and foremost how we, humanity, can inflict such pain and terror on one another. I'm unable to understand how anyone could have such disregard for the life of another and carry out such atrocities. I started feeling the guilt about not knowing how to help. I mean, here I am in the comfort of my home in Northern Virginia, in the United States, while on the other side of the world, these horrific events are unfolding. Well, I was becoming very stressed about the situation and my feelings, and I decided to take a walk. While I was walking, I asked this question out loud. What can I do to help people that find themselves in situations like this? How can I make a difference? I received a response almost immediately. And the response was, if you, speaking of me, if you were intended to be in those parts of the world and involved in those situations, you would be. You are intended to be where you are while making a difference where you are. And this is for all of us. We all are where we are intended to be. We all are making a difference in the world that immediately surrounds us. This gives us an opportunity to recognize and accept our connection to one another as human beings. It's also an opportunity to honor and respect one another for our chosen life path and to hold these other folks who might be going through these difficulties, these atrocities, if you will, to hold them in love and compassion. And of course, this doesn't mean that we ignore them or that we don't have feelings or emotions about it, but we truly can't do anything about it from where we are. We can only make a difference where we are with what's happening around us. Here's a quick exercise I want you to do. Now, unless you're driving, I want you to close your eyes and be silent. I want you to allow your body to relax, and I want you to allow it to relax completely. Notice any tension or stress you're holding in your body, particularly your shoulders or perhaps your arms. Simply breathe very deeply. Let the breath and the stress out, and just relax. And ideally, if you can, do this exercise in a place that is quiet, where you won't experience any interruptions. Feel the calm and peace within you. Feel the calm and peace around you. Experience the calm and peace within you. Be mindful not to judge your feelings and your experience, Don't place conditions on the calm and peace by allowing thoughts of, yes, I can experience calm and peace now when I take the time to do this exercise, but not in the real world. Well, my response to that is, are you sure? Are you sure you cannot experience calm and peace when there's so much chaos and fear in the world? Well, think about the exercise we just did. Didn't you just experience it in the exercise? Aren't the chaotic events in this world still taking place when you went through the exercise? Of course they are. The point is that we must consciously work toward and allow for the experience of peace and calm. We can also do this by thinking back to when you experience calm and peace in the midst of a difficult situation. We've all had them. Reflect on that experience by reliving it in your imagination. Are you feeling the sense of calm and peace you experienced when in the midst of the actual experience? How did the calm and peace impact how you resolved or moved through that difficult time? We make choices all the time that result in the experience of chaos, fear, worry, or anxiety, all of which take us further and further from the experience of calm and peace. But acknowledge the choices you are making. Acknowledge the impact they're having on your experience of calm and peace. And make different choices. But be careful and mindful of not judging or criticizing yourself for the choices you have made or the thoughts you're having. The more we consciously create the opportunity to experience calm and peace, the more we will have the experience of calm and peace, regardless of external events. The example we often use is similar to muscle memory. When a muscle's been trained to perform in a certain way, it performs that way whenever it is called upon to perform that way. And the same holds for calm and peace. When we train ourselves to experience calm and peace, we will experience calm and peace whenever calm and peace is what is called for in any situation in which we find ourselves. The second question that I was given to answer is, how do I take time, or how do I do things for myself without feeling guilty because of all the other things that I have to do? Well, I have to question, is this question more about our perception of what we think others might think, say, or do if we do something for ourselves? Or are we judging ourselves against what we believe we have to do, and that if we don't, we'll let others down, or we won't meet what we believe is expected of us? I just want to tell you, there is nothing that we have to do. Nothing. Of course, there's consequences of each choice that we make. However, we do not have to do anything. Well, that is other than taking care of ourselves. And that's our primary responsibility for being on the planet, taking care of ourselves, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. This doesn't mean that you don't extend yourself to others to whom you can benefit. It doesn't mean you don't lend your support. But you're not intended to, especially when it's to your own detriment. All of us need to take time away from work and just unplug. We need to engage in activities that bring us greater enjoyment and fun. We need to recharge by discharging what we hold on to that no longer serves us. We need to give attention and intention towards our inspirations and passions. We need to breathe life into them so they can breathe life into us. We need to be energized by experiencing and expressing our personal power through creativity and play. How do you answer this question? What type of people do you most admire and wish you could emulate? I would have to think that if you're being truly honest with yourself, you would say those folks who enjoy and embrace life, those who apparently have fun at everything they do, those folks who are joy to be around, who bring energy to whatever they do and into any room in which they might enter, instead of being someone who walks into the room and sucks the energy out of it. These are all folks who consciously schedule and engage in activities that bring them joy and happiness. Do you begrudge these folks because they're energized and enjoying life to a degree you're not? Trust me, they've not found a way to add more time into each day so they can have more fun and enjoyment. What they've done is they've added more fun and enjoyment into the same 24 hours each of us has. They recognize that they are their own authority in their lives, and they have the final say in what they do, who they are, and how they experience life. Aren't these the type of people you want to be around? Isn't this the type of person you want to be? Here's a simple question. What do you like to do? What are you good at? What brings you joy and happiness? If you were asked, what would you say you want most out of life for yourself? If you're like most, you're going to say, I just want to be happy. Or I want to be happier. Well, then be happier by creating opportunities to be happy. Each week or month, schedule activities that allow for more enjoyment, fun, and happiness, and then schedule everything else around them. In other words, if taking care of yourself is a priority, which it should be, then schedule other life responsibilities around this, your primary responsibility. Again, this doesn't mean you ignore others or the responsibilities you have, like work and caring for your family, etc. It means that you take care of you so that you can do and be these other things in life as the best version of yourself possible, which ultimately means you'll be offering the best that you are and the best that you can offer others at all times. Change your perspective from feeling guilty about doing things for yourself because of all that you must do, to feeling guilty for denying others the full measure of who you are, which will result from doing those things for yourself, to recharge, to relax, to enjoy all aspects of life. If you truly believe that people want to be around and work with people who are energetic, positive, enthusiastic, engaging, and inspirational, then become that person by taking care of you in whatever way allows you to be this person you are intended to be. I want to again thank you for your time. I know you have many opportunities towards which you can invest it, and yet once again you've chosen to spend this time with me. I want you to know how greatly it is appreciated. If you have questions or comments on today's podcast, or if you have a suggestion for a future podcast, please email me at jim@prosperitybydesign.com. I look forward to continuing our conversation as we bring more ancient wisdom into our modern world that will change not only our personal lives, but the world as we know it into a more peaceful, more loving, more kind, and joy-filled experience for all. Until next time, I'm Jim Phillips, and you've been listening to Ancient Wisdom for a Modern World.